And youths prepare for June 25th protests as plans are underway to commemorate those killed in June 2024. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions approves murder charges against 6 people, including Central Police Station OCS Samson Talam.
Maneno ya 50+1. Kama huna mlima hawezi ingia.
A game of numbers. Rigathi Gachagua says President William Ruto's numbers are dwindling and Raila Odinga will not save him come 2027. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Laura Omondi. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Let's get this show started. Now, the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, has approved murder charges against 6 people, including Central Police Station OCS Samson Talam, over the killing of Albert Ojwang. The ODPP received the files on Sunday and said the approval received a comprehensive review by 6 senior prosecutors. The other 5 are Police Officer James Muhwana and Peter Kimani. Suspects arrested over the assault, John Ngige Gitao, Jean Amito Abuao, and Brian Mwaniki Njue, will also be charged with murder.
Decided to bring today the OCS, Mr. Talam, and the other persons to charge them for the offense of murder. Knowing very well that these persons, being suspects at that particular stage, have lawyers. They did not inform the lawyers. They did not inform us at all. Are you aware that your client is going for plea? I called Mr. Omari. Mr. Omari also had just gotten information and he was in court. So we rushed here. So you can see basically when I was saying that they are legal bandits, I only meant that they are ambushing us. And when you're ambushing people, then that makes you what I said. It is not fair. Not only for the persons who we have come to represent, who we were very quick to react, but also for the ones who did not have their lawyers in court. Yet the state knows. And they know that in the High Court, nothing goes on if you do not have a lawyer. If they did not inform us, and this was intentional, then what did they intend to have as the last result? We know why they're in a hurry.
Trial by ambush. Don't tell the advocates. Drag the people to court. They take plea. Then detain them. Simply, it shows the incompetence of the state. Because the state, if they knew the law, they know that no plea will be taken for murder. I've come here and they have been chased. And the judge has said the 2 didn't have advocates. Shall be given advocates. We know the reasons as to why a decision to charge was done today. 2 things. There is a matter we filed before the Constitutional Court challenging the decision to investigate this matter without this matter going to an inquest.
The Independent Policing Oversight Authority IPOA chairperson Isaac Hassan has apologized for appearing alongside the Inspector General of Police and his team during a press briefing on the death of Albert Ojwang. Speaking at an International Justice Mission event, Hassan said his presence was purely coincidental as he happened to be visiting the station at the time, calling it a big mistake. Former Chief Justice David Maraga, who spoke at the same event, urged government to fast-track police reforms, warning that police brutality had gone out of control.
Case of currently from Ojwang. Ojwang was killed on 8th of June, and today is 23rd. Already we have got more than 20 reported deaths in police since then. So again, this raises an issue about the police accountability. But the question was, why was I there at the press conference? I went there to go and see the cell. When I got the signal from the IG and I read the signal, it said he died because he repeatedly hit his head against the wall. That was the first signal. And I called him up and I told him, surely, you want to insult our intelligence now. This is not going to fly. I'm going there to go to that cell. And he told me, oh, I'm also coming. I'll be there tomorrow. So it was not that I planned to be in that press conference. My team was already there from midnight. Our investigators were already there. They had secured the scene of crime. There were people who were there from our investigation team. I went there to go and actually look at the cell. And I was so disturbed. And I never planned to be with them in the press conference. The IG already asked me to come and join him. I think it was a big mistake, I think, which should not have happened. And I explained that to Parliament that we apologize for that. We should not have actually appeared with them.
Delayed justice is not merely a procedural failure. It is a betrayal of trust. For survivors and families, every day without resolution deepens their trauma. Consider the mother who waits years for answers about her disappeared son, or a widow who faces intimidation while seeking justice for her husband's unlawful killing.
Central Region Police Commander Samuel Ndanyi has assured the family of Boniface Kariuki, the mask vendor shot by a police officer in Nairobi, that justice will be served. Delivering a message from the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, Ndanyi led police officers in visiting the family in Karirau village, Kangema, and he said one rogue police officer should not taint the image of the entire police service. Meanwhile, Kariuki's family is appealing to government for support to offset a rising hospital bill. Kariuki is currently under the intensive care unit at Kenyatta Hospital.
Following swift investigation, 2 police officers have already been arraigned in court. I want to assure you that we are working closely with the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, that is IPOA, and other relevant agencies to ensure that justice is served openly, fairly, and without compromise. On behalf of Inspector General of the National Police Service, Mr. Douglas Kanja, we are here not just as police officers, but as a fellow Kenyan, to offer you our sympathy, to stand with you, and to say that we feel your pain and we share in your difficulties at such a time. We are part of the communities we serve, and when one of us is hurt, all of us are affected.
Wako na bill kwa sasa imefika 1 million. Huyo kijana ndio alikuwa tegemeo wa hii familia, na hiyo bill, hii familia na wenyeji wa hii eneo mahali huyo kijana anatoka, hiyo bill hatuwezi kulipa kwa sababu hatuna uwezo. So serikali tunamuomba, tunajua bill itaendelea kuongezeka venye anaendelea kupata matibabu.
The Independent Medical Legal Unit, IMLU, has called for urgent and swift independent investigations into all deaths, abductions, and allegations of torture of civilians by police officers. While launching its investigative report on extensive human rights violations during the Gen Z-led protests of 2024, IMLU said while a few junior officers have been prosecuted in high-profile cases, such as the murder of lawyer Willie Kimani, most violations go unpunished.
Police violence has become embedded in the architecture of public order management. IMLU's data, which draws on medical and legal assessments, eyewitness accounts, autopsy findings, and expert testimony, reveals a chilling consistency in police behavior during political events across multiple administrations. Whether in the aftermath of the elections of 2017, the cost of living protests of 2023, or the Gen Z mobilizations of 2024.
Article 1 of the Constitution of Kenya states that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with this Constitution. This report therefore points to the urgent need to safeguard the provisions set out in the Constitution of Kenya.
Now, lobby groups are calling for compensation for victims and families who lost their loved ones during last year's finance bill protests ahead of the commemoration slated for Wednesday, June 25th. The event aims to demand justice for those arrested, injured, or killed. Security agencies have been notified and peace will be maintained. Addressing the media at the offices of Muslims for Human Rights, Muhuri, Matthias Shipeta of Haki Africa has confirmed that the necessary permissions had been granted by authorities following proper notification. The human rights activists met with the county police commander, who assured them of security during the procession that will commence at Pembe za Ndovu along Moi Avenue.
Tumeweza kukutana na county commander, OCPD na wale polisi wote ambao wanahusika katika kuhakikisha ya kwamba kutakuwa na usalama siku ya June 25th. We have given them the notification and they have confirmed kwamba wame-receive na wametuashua ya kwamba watakuwa na sisi, lakini kuhakikisha tu ya kwamba kutakuwa na security. We have received reports kwamba pia kuna watu wamejipanga kwamba watakuja kuinfiltrate commemoration hii ama demonstration hii. Kwa hivyo sisi tuko macho. We are calling upon all those who are coming waje peacefully.
Lakini Wednesday tarehe 25 watu wajitokeze kimasumasu, watu wajitokeze kwa wingi bila fujo, bila vurugu. Maana itakuwa ni maandamano ya amani kwa kumbuka wale waliopoteza maisha yao.
So tunahimiza Wakenya wote waweze kujitokeza katika maandamano siku ya Jumatano na wasiogope, kwa sababu kama mashirika na kama Wakenya tumeweza kuwakumbusha vyombo vya usalama kuwa hii ni haki ya kikatiba, na wameweza kusema kuwa wamepokea ile barua ya notification, and so we are ready for 25th.
On 25th, we are also calling not only for a commemoration, but for the wheels of justice to speed up, for the families that lost their victims to be able to get justice. We've not had any court prosecution so far from the victims of June 25th in Mombasa, and we call for that to happen so that we can see finally the faces that shot those bullets illegally to unarmed peaceful citizens. Thank you.
Mimi naomboleza kuhusu vijana wangu walikufa mwaka jana tarehe 25, mpaka ikifika hii sasa tunaenda kumaliza mwaka. Fika tarehe 25, naomba wananchi ambao wale watoto wao walikufa na wenye waliumia waje kwa wingi, tufanye maombi kwa pamoja sababu tumemaliza mwaka. Hao yangu ni hayo tu. Jina langu ni Jason, mimi majina yangu ni Jason Ogutu Ombati. Mimi ndio babake Josh Ombati. Bao ni kijana wangu alikufa mwaka jana. Sasa naomba hii tarehe 25 pia tumemaliza mwaka, watu waje kwa wingi tufanye maombolezi na maombi.
A section of Kenya Kwanza leaders from Embu County has appealed to the youths to stop the planned Wednesday demonstrations, saying protests are not the solution to the country's challenges. Led by Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku, the leaders emphasized the need for unity and dialogue instead of confrontation in sorting out their differences. Ruku stated that past protests have ended up being chaotic, leading to destruction of property, infrastructure and public amenities. His sentiments were echoed by Senator Alexander Mundigi, who said previous protests had left many Kenyans counting losses after their businesses and properties were looted or vandalized.
Protests in the city and other corners of the country are not warranted. Tuko na serikali moja, tuko na Kenya moja. Hakuna Kenya opposition na hakuna Kenya serikali. Kenya ni moja. There are problems in our country. These problems can only be solved if we sit down together and talk together. Destruction of property, destruction of infrastructure, destruction of other things cannot help us solve the problems which are affecting our sons and daughters who are young. Kwa hivyo jameni, nawaomba, let's solve our issues which are affecting the young people. Na sisi tunawapenda sana tukiwa pamoja.
Ningeomba wakati huu wa economy recovery tuachane mambo ya maandamano, kwa sababu hakuna mtu ana TV anaona vile makombora inarushwa kule nje ya ng'ambo huko Iraq na Iran na pia na Israel wanapigana sana. Kwa hiyo ni njia ya kutuonyesha kama nchi ya Kenya itaendelea hivyo, hakuna pahali tutaenda. Maandamano haitatusaidia, itapomoa nchi yetu, itapomoa kaunti zetu. Barabara ile tumejenga na pesa ya ukopa na pesa ya taksi yetu, utakuta watu wengi wataweka moto na haitatusaidia. Mduka nyingi sinaporwa, mambo mengi itaharibika.
Democracy for Citizens Party leader Rigathi Gachagua has asked the Maa community to work together and form the next government. The former deputy president is wooing the communities of Kajiado, Narok and Samburu grassroots leaders to join him in the quest of liberating the country from what he terms corrupt individuals, informing them that community is key in the cause. The DCP leader was speaking in his Wamunyoro residence, where he brought together more than 500 ground mobilizers from 3 counties for consultations.
Hii maneno ya 50+1. Kama huna mlima, hawezi ingia. Si ndio? Na ndio ilisaidia William Ruto. Alikataliwa Pwani. Akakataliwa Northeastern. Alikataliwa Nyanza, alikataliwa Western, alikataliwa Nairobi. The only place na Lower Eastern pahali tu alishinda ni kwake na mlima, na hiyo mbili ni rais. Sasa what has happened is the opposite. Mlima imemuondokea forever, Western imemuondokea, Kisii wameondoka, Wamaa wameondoka, Western wameondoka, Pwani wameondoka. Ni one term, si one term.
Sema mambo ya water and sewerage ya Ndakaini itakuja Kajiado North. Your Excellency, mimi nikaona nimechoka na hii uongo. So hata hii vote ilipokuja mimi tayari nilikuwa nimechoka. Your Excellency, nikasema no to protest over lies.
Watoto wamesema wanakuja Nairobi na wanakuja memorial service na wataandamana kwa sababu kuna watoto waliuliwa tarehe 25 last year. Mr. President, number 1, usiue watoto. Wachana na wao, wafanye maandamano kisheria. Na nakuomba sana, Mr. President, usitumie pia polisi kuvuruga watoto. Na wewe na Sakaja na wengine, msilete goons Nairobi. Wachaneni na Nairobi.
All right, allow us to take a quick break. At that point, we'll be back shortly with more news making headlines. On the other side, stay with us. So raging floodwaters tear through several had assured the affected residents of a comprehensive resettlement plan and support to rebuild their lives. However, 1 year later, the promise remains unfulfilled and the victims continue to endure despair, worsening economic hardship and mental health challenges. One of the survivors, Mary Wanjiku, urged Parliament to step in and ensure the resettlement process is fast-tracked, noting that many families struggle to pay rent due to lack of financial support.
Rahia kwa sababu ya tumepewa chakula, wale wetu wametusaidia. Tuko na changamoto mingi kwa sababu tangu tubebwa na maji. Wengine wetu walipass na wengine walibaki na injuries, kama msichana wangu alikujika mguu akawekwa chuma. Mwingine alipass na mimi niliachwa tu na injuries ya mguu. Sasa imekuwa ngumu juu hatuna pahali pa kukaa.
Taabika sana kutoka hiyo siku. Mashida imetufuata kila mahali. Hakuna mahali ya kuseto, mbesidieda na maji. Saa hii ni kukomboa, pesa ya kulipa nyumba ni shinda. Saa lakini Mungu tu anatusaidia.
Biggest problems that they still face is just coping with tragedy mentally. Many of them have a very difficult time with just thinking about everything that they lost, and also feeling like they have been abandoned. And we want to do something, if however small it is, to make sure that they understand that there are people who still care about them. We are still very, very hopeful that the promises that were made by the government will be kept. And one of the things that we really want to emphasize today and make sure everybody understands this, many of the people who are behind me right now lost everything.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has dismissed any fears of backtracking on country's devolution journey, declaring that the system is now too deeply entrenched to be reversed. Speaking during the 27th ordinary session of the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council (IBEC) held at his official residence in Karen, Kindiki said devolution had become a permanent feature of governance architecture and emphasized that both the national and county governments must work in harmony to improve service delivery. The Deputy President, who chairs the IBEC, pointed out that the country had made significant progress in ensuring timely disbursement of funds to the counties.
Because we are already implementing our constitutional responsibilities in a very good way. I was just chatting with some of the colleagues here earlier on from both national government, county government, and we are saying some of the things here we are calling disputes and conflicts are very minor issues, inconsequential, and they are expected. Differences of opinion and interpretation of mandate, these are normal things. And I gave the example, I know countries which have had devolved systems for close to 200 years. Australia, for example, 185 years of devolution. Today, there is always tension, push and pull between the two houses of parliament when it comes to how much money remains in the center and how much goes to the counties. 185 years later. So we are doing so well. Nobody has the capacity to roll back devolution. It is so strong. No one, no administration has the capacity to roll back even an inch of devolution. We are already undertaking some concurrent functions seamlessly. In health, we have the community health volunteers or promoters program.
Your Excellency, you know, this share thing will not have taken off the ground had it not been for the governors. Because when everybody was fighting it, we stuck out our neck, right? And we got called all manner of names, and now everybody is on board singing the same song. So where we know it's beneficial for our masses, for our constituents.
At the same time, the Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki, slammed his predecessor, Rigathi Gachagua, over his verbal mannerisms, saying he's not intimidated by them. While speaking to members of the County Assembly from the larger eastern region, including Kitui, Machakos and Makueni counties, Kindiki called on the region to solidify their support behind the Kenya Kwanza government.
Hao wakora wanapurura hapa na mambo ya bure. They have nowhere to hide. They have nowhere to hide. Kwa sababu wanakuja pale kupiga kelele. Sijui wantam, sijui tamgani, sijui nani. Leadership is not about bullying people. It's about persuading them to work with you. Yeah. And you know, those are things, and cotton. And those are things nobody has a quarrel with. Unataka yani nani anapinga Wakamba wasisaidiwe na serikali nzuri ipate bei mzuri. Ukijaribu hiyo utazama. Ukijaribu kupinga hiyo utazama. For the sake of the country, because you cannot keep talking about an election that happened 3 years ago. Yeah? Or imprison people. Tell them because of what happened 3 years ago, we have to wait until the next election. No. Allah. See, people are taxpayers. See, there is a government that is collecting taxes from everybody, including the people you lead. It is, and that's the philosophy you see in the broad-based administration.
The government is calling on widows to take advantage of the many programs run through funds established under law for economic empowerment, as it says it will not set up a fresh fund specifically for them. Speaking in Nyamira, where the national celebrations for International Widows Day was held, First Lady Rachel Ruto and the President's advisor on women's rights, Harriet Chigai, said there are funds targeting women from the ward level all the way to the national level, now requesting women to attach themselves to self-help groups that will enable them access funds and empower themselves economically.
Ningependa kusihi kila mmoja wetu. I want to encourage each one of us seated here today and those that are listening that we can do something for our widows. We can support what the government is doing for our widows and our orphans. You can give something. You can give that extra thing that you have in your farm, in your house. You can visit that widow because we know that there's a lot of stigma, with the widows. So I just want to encourage all of us. Ningependa kusi sisi wote tuweze kufanya jambo. Serikali inawajali. Serikali yetu ambaye inaongozwa na rais wetu Daktari William Samoei Ruto inawajali. Jambo muhimu kina mama, kama vile viongozi wametuambia hapa, ukisikia kwamba kuna jambo ambalo serikali inafanya, tafadhali uweze kujihusisha na hilo jambo. Wakati nilikuwa naenda katika nchi yetu ya Kenya kuongea na kina mama, nilikuwa nawaambia kwamba hata ukisikia kwamba kuna barasa ya chief ambaye imeitwa, usiseme kwamba mimi ni mama ama mimi tu ni mama mjane siwezi enda. Tafadhali uweze kufika hapa, uweze kujua kwamba chief leo anatuambia nini.
When I look at this room, you're more than 7,000. If we are to contribute 100 shillings today, that is 700 million. If we are to contribute 1,000 shillings today, all of us, that is 7.9 billion in a day. There is your power.
All right, that piece from the Office of the First Lady wraps our bulletin tonight. Thank you for watching. I hope you're duly informed on what is making headlines across the country. Have yourself a lovely night. Our sign language interpreter is Laura Omondi. My name is Cynthia Nanjala.